1998, Alaska. The biting wind howled a mournful song across the icy wastes, mirroring the chill that settled in Elara's gut as she reread her father's email. Dr. Aris Thorne, marine biologist extraordinaire. Vanished. Poof. Gone. Just a chilling message left behind. A digital whisper of, a discovery too dangerous to share? Dangerous? Her father, a man of science, a man of reason, using words like dangerous? It didn't sit right. The email, sent from his remote research station in Portlock, a place so isolated, so cut off. It felt like the edge of the world. Portlock. The name itself sounded like a death knell. She dismissed it at first, buried under the usual chaos of her life in Seattle. But the nagging unease, the sheer strangeness of it all wouldn't let her rest. Something was terribly, terribly wrong. And she was about to find out just how wrong.
That carved symbol, the swirling vortex of lines, unlike anything she'd ever seen, burned itself into Elara's memory. Found etched into a piece of driftwood, washed ashore near her father's abandoned cabin, a cabin that felt less abandoned and more, vacated in a hurry. She'd scoffed at the email at first. Her dad, Dr. Aris Thorne, a man of science, talking about a discovery too dangerous to share? But this was different. This was tangible, a physical manifestation of the unease that had been gnawing at her. The old woman at the general store, her face etched with the harsh lines of a life lived on the edge of the world, only added to the growing unease. Lights, she'd mumbled, eyes darting nervously. Strange lights, dancing across the water, late at night. Coming from Thorne's lab. Then there was Silas, her father's former assistant, a man who lived alone, his eyes haunted, his words mumbled paranoia. Silas, who just stared at me with those eyes, all shadows and secrets, before whispering, he found something. Something not of this world. Something watching. He'd clammed up after that, his words swallowed by a wave of fear. The sounds, that's what truly chilled Elara to the bone. Finn, a local fisherman with arms like iron and eyes that held the secrets of the unforgiving sea, told me about the sounds emanating from the lab. Not just noises, but whispers, almost. Sounds like someone was crying, but somehow distorted, like mimicking something, only wrong. Finn, initially reluctant, eventually agreed to help. A taciturn man, he'd lost a brother at sea years ago. The shared grief, the unspoken bond between them forged in the shadow of their absent fathers, somehow made a pact between them. He led me to the lab, a stark metal structure clinging to the cliffside like some metallic barnacle. Inside, the air hung heavy with the smell of salt and something else, something acrid, almost organic. Thorne's research notes, scattered across the tables, offered little. Scrawled equations, diagrams of unknown creatures, all hinting at something extraordinary, something terrifying, but nothing conclusive. Nothing that explained the unsettling whispers, the dancing lights, or the chilling sounds echoing in the night. The lab felt empty, yet the silence pulsed with an unnerving energy, a feeling of something unseen, something watching from the shadows. And as they left, a low, guttural moan, faint but undeniably present, drifted out of the lab on the harsh wind, a sound that scraped against Elara's sanity, a sound that echoed the dread that now resided deep within her. Something was out there. Something had taken her father, and it wasn't done yet.
The air in the lab hung thick, a miasma of salts and something else, something almost metallic, almost alive. Finn, his face grim, shone his lantern on a stack of Thorne's notes, pages filled with scrawled equations and diagrams that looked like something out of a nightmare. Elara, her stomach churning, ran a shaky hand along a cold metal surface. A containment unit, she realized, its door hanging open, its interior ominously empty. Thorne's meticulous handwriting, usually so precise, became frantic towards the end, a desperate scrawl detailing failed containment procedures, escalating panic clawing across the paper. Then she saw it. A drawing, crude, yet chillingly realistic, depicting a creature unlike anything she'd ever imagined. A serpentine form, sleek and bioluminescent, with limbs that seemed almost human, humanoid. This wasn't some ordinary marine life. This was something else entirely, something terrifying. Finn, muttering under his breath, found a data log. He tapped it open with a calloused thumb. Dates lined up. The strange lights seen by the locals coincided exactly with the periods when Thorne recorded unsuccessful containment attempts. The whispers, the cries. He looked at Elara, his eyes wide. He wasn't studying dolphins, Elara. He found something else, something that copies. The log entries were fragmented, rushed, filled with technical jargon that barely made sense to Elara, but the horrifying implications were clear. The creature mimicked sound, mimicked movement, even mimicked human behavior. The unsettling sounds, the distorted cries, it was imitating the villagers, twisting their anguish into something nightmarish. The missing people? Not abducted, replaced. The creature mimicking their lives, their routines, leaving no trace of its actions except perhaps the growing, creeping unease that hung heavy over Portlock like a shroud. Further into the lab, they found another terrifying detail. A series of small, almost surgical instruments coated in a viscous, iridescent fluid that shimmered even in the dim light. A fluid that matched the description of the bioluminescent creature in Thorne's notes. A terrifying idea started to form in Elara's mind. Thorne had tried to contain it, to study it, but it had escaped. The escape explained everything. The strange lights, the unsettling sounds, even the symbol carved in the driftwood. A mark, perhaps, left by the creature itself. The reality hit Elara with the force of a physical blow. Her father hadn't just vanished. He'd been replaced. And the creature, this horrifying mimic, was still out there. It wasn't just in Thorne's lab, it was in Portlock, hiding in plain sight, wearing a human mask. The chilling thought sent a shiver down her spine. This wasn't a simple missing persons case. It was a monstrous, creeping threat that threatened to consume the whole village, and then the world. The slow, creeping dread that had settled in her gut now evolved into a stark, terrifying realization. They had to stop it before it was too late. The wind outside howled, a mournful symphony of impending doom, mirroring the icy dread that seized Elara's heart. They were running out of time.
The next morning dawned gray and sullen, mirroring the grim discovery they made at Mrs. Olson's cottage. Mrs. Olson, a sweet old woman known for her blueberry pies, was gone, vanished. But her cottage? It wasn't empty. Her knitting lay abandoned mid-stitch, a half-finished pie cooling on the windowsill, the scent of baking berries strangely at odds with the unsettling stillness. Then Finn spotted it, a faint, almost imperceptible scratch on Mrs. Olson's favorite rocking chair, a scratch that glinted with an iridescent sheen, the same horrifying luminescence they'd seen in the lab, the same stuff coating those surgical instruments. That's when the real terror hit. It wasn't just taking people, it was replacing them, mimicking them so perfectly that only the keenest eye, the most observant soul, would notice anything amiss. Finn, his face etched with grim determination, pulled out a faded photograph from his worn leather wallet, a picture of a younger man, his brother, smiling, his arm around Mrs. Olson. He used to visit her every Sunday, bring her flowers. His brother was lost at sea several years ago, but the chilling thought hung in the air unsaid. Had the creature? Had it replaced Mrs. Olson with someone who looked just like her? Someone whose gentle smile hid a terrifying alien reality? The thought made Elara's blood run cold. That night, a scream pierced the quiet of Portlock. A chilling, guttural scream, distorted, unhuman, but mimicking the tone of a woman's anguish. They raced towards the sound, adrenaline surging through their veins. They found it, a struggle in the shadows near the docks, a figure, small and wiry, wrestling with something unseen, something that glinted with bioluminescence in the moonlight. They were too late to save the fisherman, a man named Jebediah, known for his boisterous laughter and tales of sea monsters. Now, he was gone, replaced. But as the unseen assailant attempted to escape, a flash of iridescent skin, fleeting but undeniable, gave away its true nature. It wasn't human, not anymore. The confrontation was brutal, primal. Finn, a man of the sea, his knowledge of the unforgiving ocean mirroring a knowledge of survival, fought with a fury born of loss and vengeance. Elara, armed with only her wits and a growing understanding of the creature's weaknesses, fought alongside him. The creature was strong, impossibly fast, its movements unnervingly fluid and human-like. It mimicked their fighting styles, anticipating their moves, using their own strengths against them. But Finn, he knew this place, knew the currents, knew the hidden pathways among the rocks and the seaweed. He used the terrain to his advantage, trapping the creature, driving it towards the sea, towards the cold, unforgiving depths from whence it came. It was a desperate struggle, a desperate fight for survival, punctuated by gasps and guttural screeches, sounds that tore at the stillness of the night. They managed to trap it, somehow, herding it into a reinforced derelict fish processing plant near the docks. The struggle had taken its toll. Finn, battered and bruised, leaned against a rusted pillar, his breath coming in ragged gasps. Elara, her arms aching, her clothes torn, looked at him, a wave of exhaustion washing over her. As they secured the plant, a shocking revelation surfaced. The plant, derelict for years, was where her father, Thorne, had initially made his discovery, where he'd initially attempted to contain the creature before moving to his remote research facility. Finn's brother had been working there at the time of the initial containment attempts. His brother's disappearance was not an accident. It was the creature's first victim, a chilling testament to its terrifying existence and the deadly consequences of Thorne's work. They had stopped it for now, but the silence of the night still felt heavy with unspoken horrors, a terrifying reminder of the creature's existence and the secrets of the sea.
The creature, trapped, thrashed against the reinforced walls of the old plant, its bioluminescent skin flashing in the dim light. A guttural shriek, a twisted parody of human agony, echoed through the decaying structure. We'd cornered it, Finn and I, battered but alive, after a fight that felt like a nightmare made real. My father, Dr. Aris Thorne, his disappearance finally explained, a victim of his own terrifying discovery. He hadn't just found a new species, he'd unleashed a monster, a mimic, something that wore human skin like a borrowed coat. Remember that symbol, that swirling vortex etched into the driftwood? Its mark, a chilling signature on the victims, on Mrs. Olson's chair, even faintly on Finn's brother's belongings found years ago. The whispers, the lights, the stolen lives, all pieces of the same gruesome puzzle. The creature, it had been amongst us all along, walking among the living, a silent predator in human disguise. We'd stopped it, for now, sealed in that decaying plant, a prison made of rust and the memories of those it had taken. But the deep, dark ocean held countless secrets, countless creatures we didn't understand, countless terrors yet to be discovered. The sea's silence, once peaceful, now felt heavy, a constant reminder of the unknown horrors lurking beneath the waves. The fight was won, but the war was far from over.